The opening range breakout is one of my favorite order entry method techniques for breakouts along with buy stop limit orders. However, the opening range breakout isn't commonly referenced in the popular trading books, those by Minervini, O'Neill, Darvis, Livermore, Stan Weinstein, so on and so forth. However, it is highly effective when used under the right circumstances. So I'm a little bit surprised that it's not more widely discussed. So this video is going to take you through the 5-minute opening range breakout that I had in Oklo on the 24th of July 2025, overlaid with the S&P 500, so I can teach you some of the nuances around trading opening range breakouts and how they can be an effective order entry method technique for breakouts. Market Surge are today's video sponsor. They're my go-to resource for analyzing company fundamentals. If you're interested in a discounted trial, then you'll find a link to that in the description and the comment section below. So let's go gadget straight into the video. High level overview first. We've got the daily chart of Oklo in the top left. We've then got the 5-minute chart of Oklo in the top right, and then overlaid or underneath that we have got the 5-minute chart of the SPY and the daily chart of the SPY that we can use for a reference point. So we're going to be looking at both the daily chart context of where are we looking for this opening range breakout, and then we can also deep dive onto the 5-minute chart, both from a trade identification standpoint but also from a trade management standpoint. I'm going to teach you a couple of things you may not be aware about, such as thinking about the stock's intraday move relative to its 20-day average daily range. That can give you a gauge of how much fuel is left in the fuel tank, and then certain things to look for when you start seeing intraday relative strength transition into intraday relative weakness. Let's just do this high level overview, okay? Sure, many of you are going to be vaguely familiar with what an opening range breakout looks like. So an opening range breakout, I'm doing it here on the 5-minute chart. So what I'm looking for Oklo is to form a bullish first 5-minute candlestick. Now ideally, I want to see a widespread candlestick that opens on the low of the bar and closes strong and there's high relative volume. I would also like that bar preferably to be stronger than the major index on that day. Now Oklo is kind of matching the SPY actually. If you look at that first 5-minute bar for Oklo and you look at the first 5-minute bar for the SPY, both are pretty bullish bars, okay? There's what I call a shakeout demand tail. So you got this tail on the bottom, pretty strong closes. They look vaguely similar, but where we then see the relative strength coming through for Oklo is what is really good and is then a trend day characteristic. Now a trend day is when a stock goes on a big move relative to its 20-day average daily range percentage. So what we see Oklo do, okay, it moves through the high here. So my entry is as it takes out, trades through the high of this bullish first 5-minute candlestick. So my entry is at 68.44 on this bar here. Now if it was absolutely perfect, I'm watching about 80 stocks during the session, so sometimes I miss the ideal point by maybe 1/4%, 0.5%. It would have been right there, okay, a little bit tighter just as it takes out the high of the bar. Now the stop loss for me goes on the low of the day by a cent. Where we then see the relative strength coming through for Oklo is take a look at what happens on the entry candlestick itself and the subsequent 2 bars. Now this is going to be really important, okay? You see this big move up here, see how it's pushing. This is at 9:40 and 9:45 Eastern time, okay? Look here, look at the same 2 bars for the SPY. They're just stuck there. The SPY's not breaking out for its high of day. See that? SPY is just stuck there, whereas Oklo has done this. Now this is a major signal to me in terms of intraday relative strength, and this could be a trend day. What do I mean by that? Where Oklo goes on a big move relative to its 20-day ADR percentage. And you may be going, what on earth is the ADR percentage? What are you talking about? Well, it's this figure here, okay? This is an indicator. Search ADR percentage on TradingView. You'll find it really easily, okay? So this is the 20-day average daily range percentage of Oklo. So that is from the low of the day to the high of the day, excluding gaps. So that tells you the average daily range is 8.69%. Okay, so it's 8.69%. If you'd like a reference, okay, the SPY is currently 0.64%. So I like trading stocks that are a lot quicker than the major indexes. Okay, I like trading stocks with ADRs of 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15%. I won't shy away from those. I like trading the quicker stocks versus the indexes, especially when they're displaying intraday relative strength and they're either true market leaders. That's what O'Neill taught you. The earnings are there, the sales are there, the new products there, new innovative growth areas, something like that. Okay, good story. The estimates are there for this year, next year, so on and so forth, right? Or maybe it's got really high sales coming through and the earnings could be maybe a couple of quarters out, maybe a year out or something like that. Or I like trading the momentum leader type stocks. Okay, the stocks that have high 50-day average dollar volumes, the stocks that have high 20-day ADR percentages, the stocks that have a previous character of being able to go on big moves, on big runs, such as Oklo in here. This is them moving largest daily volume ever on the executive order regarding nuclear power. this day here, Friday the 23rd, and it pushes up the next day, pulls back in towards the 10-day, pushes up again. Here's another trend day. Okay, I had the ORB on this day here as well, the 11th of June. Okay, really nice push. Big move there for Oglo. But getting back to then the trend day characteristics is when a stock goes on a big move. So here you can see it top ticks out at about 16%. That's circa 2 times this 20-day average daily range percentage. So what we're then trying to do is we're trying to assess, okay, what are the repeatable characteristics that we tend to see when stocks go on big moves? I'm sure many of you have studied continuation bases, flags, wedges, pennants, Darvis boxes, VCPs, cup and handles, and you try and train your pattern recognition to, okay, what does a textbook cup with handle look like? What does a textbook high tight flag look like? What does a textbook wedge pattern look like? And you then start using, say, moving averages as a reference point. Well, does it happen around the 10-day or the 21? Do you start to see certain candlesticks? Do you start to see inside days before the breakout? Do you start to see tight ranges before the breakout? Do you start to see big volume prior to the move as well? So during the rally, before it then starts to consolidate, do you start to see volume drying up in the base? And it's just the same thing that we're then doing from an intraday perspective to then assess and go, okay, hang on a minute, this could be a really big day for Oglo or ABC or XYZ, whatever the stock may be. So one of the things to look for is, one, the bullish first 5-minute candlestick. Hopefully that's also more, well, not necessarily hopefully, but preferably it's more bullish versus the SPY. And this isn't, it's about the same. But where we then see the relative strength is the 945. This powerful move for Oglo and on volume. Look how the volume expands. So it's pushing through high of day. It's actually breaking out of this range here. And this could actually be thought about as a huge cup with handle on the daily plus weekly chart, okay? As it starts breaking out, let's try and get these lined up. Again, something like that, okay? So then it's starting to break out here. You've got the acceleration of volume coming through as well. These bars here generally open on the low, strong close, open on the low, strong close. A lot of relative strength while the SPY is just stuck there. Okay, when I see this, these are the ones that I'm then looking to hold. Okay, I'm then looking to hold them. Now, what Oglo does is it pulls back in to its 5-minute 6 EMA. This is a very important moving average, I find, when you're trading these opening range breakouts. The strongest stocks will generally ride their 5-minute 6 EMA, okay, and then top out around 1 times to maybe 1.52, maybe 2.5 times if it's going to be a huge move, like Oglo had on the 11th of June when I had that opening range breakout as well, okay? But they'll generally ride it. So I'm kind of using this as a guardrail and again, okay, if you close below that 5-minute 6 EMA, then I may think about exiting. Okay, if it's starting to show intraday relative weakness. But what we see here at 10 o'clock, okay, this 10 o'clock bar for Oglo relative to the SPY. The SPY is actually pushing down here and effectively making new session lows. It's not quite there, but look, this is an ugly bar for the SPY. Okay, the MACD crosses in a bearish manner. I'm using custom settings there on the MACD. 629 is what I've got loaded up there. It's a bearish bar for the SPY. Loses the 5-minute 6 EMA, loses the 5-minute 21 EMA. It's just an ugly bar, right? Back down to session lows where, look at Oglo relative to session lows. It's nowhere near it. It's actually holding the 5-minute 6 EMA. There's a little pullback and the volume dries up. Do you see the difference here? Oglo is still saying, hey, I'm really, really strong here, then I'm strong on the pullback. So then when I'm looking at 5-minute ORBs, okay, it's pretty straightforward. You could be the 1 minute, the 5, the 3, the 15, the 30 minute. Okay, it's pretty basic stuff, guys. Okay, you're looking for a stock that is strong, both on the daily chart in a strong theme, and then it starts powering out and you target through the high, initial stop loss, low the day by a cent invariably, and I'm trying to keep my initial risk relative to the 20-day ADR percentage. A half to a third, a quarter is even better. Here it's circa 4%. It's about half the 20-day ADR percentage. Nice metric, because then I'm thinking about, okay, how far may this stock go, both in terms of a swing trade, but also intraday as well. How big of a cushion could I possibly get here? So we see that Oglo is then showing a strength at 10 a.m. Eastern time, okay? Oglo is all the way up here. It's way off its daily range, okay? SPY is just roll back down to the daily range here. The MACD is still positive, okay? We've got more positive divergences here. Oglo then starts to push here, and yes, it closes below the 5-minute 6 EMA there, but there's no follow through. It doesn't undercut the low of the bar and close down here. So okay, I'm still riding this, and then what we start to see is Oglo pushes up. Now it's up about 2 times its 20-day ADR percentage, okay? Up here, starts getting up 16%. So for all intents and purposes, the ADR is 8%. Oglo's daily range now, so from the low of the day to the high of the day is 16%. And then what it does is it pulls back down here into the 5-minute 6 EMA, and then it double tops intraday. Okay, double tops here. And it's up 2 times. You think about the 20-day ADR percentage, which is 8.69% relative, okay, or think about that as the proverbial fuel within the fuel tank. Okay, if it's an EV, how much charge have you got left? If it's an ICE machine, so internal combustion engine, okay, how much more fuel have you got? Whether it's petrol, diesel, hybrid, whatever it may be, how much more fuel is left? So when you're up 2 times, being 16%, 2 times 8%, that is a lot of fuel, a lot of charge used. There's none left, basically. That is it. Okay, when these momentum leaders go on trend days, if it gets 2 times its 20-day ADR percentage and it's just ridden effectively its 5-minute 6 EMA, that's pretty much it for the day. What we then start to see is we start to see some intraday relative weakness come through. So let me explain. Well, what we see here when it starts double topping is you get the MACD having a bearish cross here, indicating momentum is waning. Okay, so not only is it double topping at 2 times its 20-day ADR percentage, you've now got a bearish MACD cross, and it then starts closing below and undercutting its 5-minute 6 EMA. Okay, see this little supply shoots up here, I call them, then it starts rolling over here. Now at 12.10, this is where we really start to see intraday relative weakness. Note what the SPY has done at 12.10 relative to Oglo. Oglo's rolling over here. The short-term, very short-term trend is now down, whereas what do you see with the SPY? It's now up. MACD bullish for the SPY, MACD bearish for Oglo. So Oglo now is indicating, I'm done for the day, lads. That's it. That's all my fuel within the fuel tank, literally gone. I don't have any more left. I've run double marathon, if you like. Okay, think about the ADR percentage as a marathon, so it's just run like a double marathon. Stock's tired. Okay, it's used all that momentum for the day. So then when I start to see a stock lagging intraday that's then gone on a big move relative, remember it's relative to its 20-day ADR percentage, and then it starts lagging and the indexes are then doing this and the stock just can't rally. Well, this is why. Okay, and again, this is not something you're going to read about in the popular trading books you've probably read and the videos that you've watched. Okay, you've got to start thinking about the stock relative to the stock. Okay, in terms of the size of the move relative to the 20-day ADR percentage, applying common sense like this, looking for negative divergences. Okay, rolling over below these intraday moving averages. The MACD is bearish, but hang on a minute, the SPY is rallying and the SPY is positive, breaking down through the 5-minute plus the 21. The stock's tired. It's run its race for the day. So this is then how, if you're thinking about more kind of intraday and tactical, which you want to be in certain market environments. Okay, this is then the type of thing that I'm looking to nail. Okay, I may do a video a little bit later on in the week where I did this exactly with Robinhood as well. 5-minute RB around its 10-day EMA and literally sold it just off the high of the day when the stock had rallied up to its 20-day ADR percentage, then started rolling over and displaying intraday relative weakness. So this is really effective stuff if you get what I'm saying. I understand this is pretty high level. This is advanced stuff. This isn't the stuff that you get in the trading books. It can't go into the nuances. Here we can in video format. Okay, so these type of things is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for leading stocks in strong themes, Oglo, SMR, NNE, GEV, CEG, VST. There have been LEU, uranium-related stocks. Clean alternative energy has been such a strong theme. And it's trying to break out of this huge cup with handle type pattern. And when this stock wants to go on runs, this stock can go on runs. So and these are the ones that I'm looking for, and then trying to assess, okay, when Oglo has a big day, such as here, such as here, such as here, such as here, such as over here when I had the 5-minute RB on the 11th of June, such as here, 14th of July. What does it tend to do? What does it tend to exhibit? Study the stocks. The stocks will tell you everything you need to know. You don't need to watch another 1,000,001 YouTube videos. The stocks will literally tell you what to do if you study them. Study how do they move? What do you tend to see happen? So I hope that video there has been useful for you in terms of learning about opening range breakouts, what to look for, thinking about it from a trade management standpoint as well, intraday, whether you then want to roll that into a swing trade as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this level of depth, then you may be interested in terms of things that I have on my platform for members. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video.